Who do y'all feel like had the best day yesterday, given all the context of picks acquired, draft acquired, all that other stuff?
I think San Antonio had a really good day. I think OKC had a really good day.
Oh, John D, by the way, to answer that, could you say San Antonio? Because there was some. Hold on, March. Just stay in the pocket. Just stay in the pocket, please. Just stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. John D, to that point, I did want to ask, because Dylan Harper with Victor Vassell, rest of them, and then I think that like they have a tremendous, even non-Wemby, like a tremendous core. I'm actually really excited to see what they look 100%. Like. Genuinely.
I think the best part about the Dylan Harper pick is he's probably not going to start immediately. One thing that happens with younger guards is they struggle coming out the gate, especially to run an offense as a young guard. That happens sometimes more often than not. You can be patient with him. You can see what he can do in the pick and roll with Wemby. You can see how the shot making looks. You can see how the dribble penetration looks, how he looks against more athletic, taller wings. But the finishing, the mid-range shooting, all that stuff could be worked on. The finishing is a little bit better than the mid-range shooting, but yeah, they can be patient with him. They don't have to be like, Dylan Harper, we're going to feed you 10 to 12 pick and roll possessions a game. No, he can come in. Let's see what he has this game. Let's see how he looks with Wemby. Let's see how he looks defensively next to Stephon Castle. But I think their three in the future is Dylan Harper, Steph, Wemby. Carter Bryant gets thrown in there because I really like Carter Bryant, and you can be patient with these guys.
And see, John D, that's where the divide is. What happened last year with Wemby, Ron?
He went down off of blood clots.
I don't know how long I got this guy. I don't.
But we can say that about everybody.
Right. I could say that about everybody, which means that I don't have a lot of time. I got to make sure that I get it right with the number 2 pick. Because if I got 5 years with Wemby, I don't have 2 or 3 years to be patient with Dylan Harper. No, I don't. I only have a little bit of time with Wemby. I'm hoping that Wemby is able to stay up. I'm hoping that Wemby is able to continue to be healthy. I really hope that happens. But if he's not, then I got to draft for need. Y'all dudes be sitting here talking to me about Dylan Harper like De'Aaron Fox ain't one of the best lead guards in the game. Talking about getting over
I think Dylan Harper's still higher.
Y'all be talking
Dylan Harper's still higher.
And the reason why the San Antonio Spurs traded for Dylan, the reason why they traded for De'Aaron Fox is because this thing with him and Wemby, this thing is happening now. This thing ain't happening in 5 years. They're trying to go right now, which means that I feel like passing on Ace Bailey, passing on him for a guy that fits as opposed to the better player. Because again, Mars, remember, this is feast or famine. What happens with Ace Bailey if he turns into a better version of Derek McKee or something like that, where he's a really awesome 3-man? Great on defense.
That's great.
Like an 18, 19 a game guy.
The Jazz will be happy.
To be completely honest, like if we're talking about right now, Victor Wembanyama would not have looked good in the playoffs, in my opinion, offensively.
But he would have been there, though. That's the thing, though, John D.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're making a move for right now. I just offensively as a scorer, I don't think Wemby is there yet. He would have looked awful against OKC. He would have looked awful against Houston. I don't think Wemby was there yet. He does not have the strength to attack mismatches. He does not have the handle. You could have put Dylan Brooks on him. You could have put Caruso on him. You could have put Dort on him. And what they're going to do is we're going to deny the rim, and you're going to have to take contested mid-ranges the entire series. Yeah. It would have looked really bad for Wemby. So we're going to say, like, we have this right now, but just Wemby's not ready as a scorer to be that guy you want him to be in the playoffs this year. And then you have him, and he's 21. He's 21. You can think about the injuries, but we can say that about every player. De'Aaron Fox could be out for the year next year. We don't know. Hopefully not. But I think you just have to say, like, look, we have this generational prospect at 21, 22 years old, however old he is. We're going to match him with the second best prospect in the draft that fits really good on paper, and we're going to roll with the punches. That's what the draft is. It's a crapshoot. We have to understand that we are in a position that we have a young player, and hopefully he can stay up to where Dylan Harper can become everything we want him to be and pair these two guys together. And I think that's the best move. You go get a guy like Carter Bryant, who's an extremely good connector, a really good role relocator, and somebody that can knock down outside shots and has a really good form. Dylan Harper can use him as like we know how in football, say tight ends are a quarterback safety blanket.
Sure.
I think Carter Bryant can be a Wemby safety blanket, a Dylan Harper safety blanket. At the end of the shot clock, he's going to make the right cut. At the end of the shot clock, he's going to relocate to the corner. That's the type of guy who's, okay, where's Carter at? You know, I think these are really good picks to build up for the future. These are young guys who know what they're doing and fit on paper really good next to Victor Wembanyama. We don't know what's going to happen next year. We don't know what's going to happen.
Why don't people like Dylan Harper with Wemby?
Because of the pick and roll upside, the scoring upside, and the interior passing upside, and the finishing around the rim. I think those two, Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, I think that is your backcourt of the future. I think Steph and Wemby could make a really good defensive duo in the future. I think Carter Bryant adds to that as a secondary rim protector, a guy that can blow up actions, play passing lanes, and also be a really good rebounder and transition player. I think all of that puts together for a really good team in the future, and they also still have picks. I just think when you have the 21-year-old, yes, he got hurt. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's not valid.
He got blood clots. He ain't get hurt. It's not like
exactly. Like
it was a health issue, Mars.
It was a freak situation.
It was a health issue. Okay, sure. It was definitely a health issue. But to your point, I mean, you said for the future. Again, to reiterate my point, I think that if Wemby can stay healthy, I got to maximize all of Wemby's years. You traded for De'Aaron Fox because you want to pair De'Aaron Fox with Wemby. You want to pair him with a guy who can get downhill, who can create shots, who can get to the rim, but can also create shots for Wemby, because Wemby is a pick and pop guy. Wemby is, especially in transition, because I got a fast guy in De'Aaron Fox, one of the best transition guards in the game. Then you draft Castle to go along with Fox, another big guard in the backcourt. Well, where am I deficient at? Because I already got my 5-man, I already got my lead guard, and you're telling me that these two guys are the future. De'Aaron Fox is 27 years old. I got 6, so I think, barring injury, like Wemby, I think I got 6 or 7 more years.
I don't think he doesn't need to be there though, Chill. To be honest with you, he's 28. Like he doesn't need to be a part of. But I'm saying he doesn't. I think next year he'll be 28.
He'll be 28 in December.
But I'm saying
I don't think he's staying that long.
Yeah, that's hold on. That's what I was going to say. I don't think Fox is going to be a part of their long-term future in the first place, Chill. I think you're getting caught on like right now, but I don't think they're even aiming for that. They want to be competitive, but they're already ahead of the Houston timeline. For instance, Houston's in this place now where they need to win, not need to win, but they're in a better position to win because they got Kevin Durant and stuff. But they still have all their assets. The Spurs got Fox for nothing. That wasn't even like a worthwhile trade for them.
They did get him for nothing.
So I'm saying that like as soon as they want to get off Fox, they can easily get off Fox, and that's a movable contract 2 years from now with draft assets. If they want to get a better player, so I think for them, they got Dylan Harper. Some people can disagree with this, and that's fine. Wemby, Dylan Harper, Castle, and Vassell from your other core. I think Vassell's better than a lot of people think. Obviously, I'm on an island with that. But I think Vassell is going to be very similar to some of these players that are like, they stay around, like while teams get better when they move into their contender list. They're like, oh, damn,
Miles
like
Turner and Nick Collins.
Yeah, he's just one of those players that he just keeps getting better, but he does a lot for that team. And I think he's finding a 6'7" off-ball player or on-ball player. And I think Mars, he talked about this a little bit, the versatility episode, I think the other day. And then, obviously just even on Twitter, Devin Vassell's a ball handler. Dylan's a ball handler. Stephon Castle's a ball handler. Jeremy Sohan supposed to be a ball handler at some point in time.
Yep.
Victor Wembanyama's a ball handler. And they're all 6'6" and up. Every one of them. I think that for me is a part of their formula. De'Aaron Fox is like a great add-in. Yep. I think he's good for right now. Chill, you're higher on De'Aaron Fox than I am, but I still think he'll be good in this situation. But he is in no way, shape, or form is impeding the development of these players, or he's not going to guarantee to be here for the next 2 or 3 years. Because we can easily just move off him.
Which is a fair statement, Swiper. So if that's the case, then why am I holding on to him? If these guys
just got here.
But this is what I'm saying.
I don't think they're holding on to him. I think he's just there.
What I'm saying is if Dylan Harper, to your point, John D, if Dylan Harper and Wemby are the future, okay, let's get to that right now, because I want as much time to develop him with Wemby. I don't want to waste any time with having him play behind Fox or having him play behind anybody. If Fox isn't the guy that I'm looking at for the next, if Fox isn't the guy that I'm looking at for the next 5-6 years, there's no reason for him to be here. And to your point, but if I got him, but
it's the same. To be fair, Chill.
The reason why is
SJ grew behind Chris Paul, didn't he?
Yeah, for that one season, sure.
Chris Paul
was a lot older though, Mars. Yeah, that's number one.
No, but I'm saying, Fox is is helping them.
I think Chris Paul was better than De'Aaron Fox
in 21. It was
2020 actually.
In 2020,
yeah,
he was. In 2020.
You guys
Well,
understand?
yeah, well, you
You
agree with that too, though. You agree
guys
with
are
that
a lot
too.
higher on De'Aaron Fox.
Still, that's the thing is it's a divide between how good that certain people think De'Aaron Fox is. Certain people don't think De'Aaron Fox is that good.
But chill, wait, chill.
Awesome.
Wait, Ron, but you don't think De'Aaron Fox is better than them MVP years from Chris Paul when he was with Phoenix, though? Okay. I heard you talk about that Chris Paul. There was
MVP years?
You don't think he's a better
MVP years?
He was in conversation.
He came like fourth.
Yeah, he came in fourth in 21.
Okay, and in 2 years,
MVP
in 2 years, when the Spurs finished top 3 in the Western Conference, newsflash,
De'Aaron Fox won't be in that conversation.
If Wemby can win the MVP and De'Aaron Fox can come in 8th. I'm just saying, like, once they start winning,
De'Aaron Fox is not Chris Paul, though, respectfully, bro.
No, he
I don't know. I didn't know that was a hot take. I think Chris Paul 2020, 2021 is better than De'Aaron Fox.
If they had Chris Paul right now, chill, they would be a much better team.
We don't have. They have Chris Paul right now,
2020,
but we don't have to get into that though.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into that. The point that I'm trying to make, and I think that Chill's trying to make, is you don't just get off a guy that's 28, and he's a 25-7
It's numbers
guy
watching,
a night.
though.
No, it's not numbers watching. I watched the guy play.
De'Aaron Fox is really good. De'Aaron Fox is really good.
Yes, he is. And all I'm saying with De'Aaron Fox, because it sounds to me when I listen to John D talk about Dylan Harper is clearly the future at the lead guard spot. All right. So if he's clearly the future at the lead guard spot, and what happened to Wemby last year with this health issue, and we know how big guys are, 7'3", 7'4", where anything can happen to these guys, I don't want to waste any time with Wemby. I don't. I want Wemby. I want to get everything that I can get out of him and whatever that time slot is. And if that means that Dylan Harper is pro ready and he's ready to play right now, I got to move off of De'Aaron Fox.
Why?
It's no promise that this dude even touches De'Aaron Fox.
That's where the divide is.
It's the draft. Repeat your statement, Ron.
My statement is that it's no promise that Dylan Harper will ever be half as good as De'Aaron Fox.
Absolutely.
That's why there's no promise.
It's a draft.
We don't need to move off Fox right now, though.
That's why.
What?
But I'm saying I think Chill's in a little. I think Chill, you're a little bit in the extreme area. I'm not. They don't have to move off him for Dylan. You need a lead guard to help another guard, especially young guard, move forward in the NBA. Fox is going to be there to be helpful to both him and Stephon Castle. They need those players, just like they needed CP3. But I think the thing that I'm trying to say is they can get there and develop. But if it gets to the point where Dylan Harper is like, you're clearly like on the way, like we're already seeing like real evidence that you're like a very good lead guard, getting off of Fox won't be a hassle for them at all, but they don't need to though. Like having more assets, it's better than having lesser assets. Chill.
I get you.
That's what I'm saying. Like you want to have players on the roster, but if it gets to the point where Dylan's like year 3 and he's sitting here like, bro, like the non-Fox minutes
should be playing more.
Right. He's 23 and 4 and 6 and on good efficiency and like, you know what I mean? The defense is better or something like that. Then yeah, you can move off of Fox and get an asset for him. I just don't think Fox is going to be the thing holding them up for their future. But maybe Chill. But the thing is, Chill, if Fox is as good as you think he is, meaning he gets better from this point, he becomes like one of those true tier 2 point guards in the league. And then all of a sudden, that changes the direction of the team too. They could easily next year or the year after that be in the contender status with the rest of this roster as well.
They're in a great spot, basically.
Yes, they are. We just had a conversation about them yesterday that they could be a playoff team. And if that's going to be the case, that's going to be largely due to De'Aaron Fox. And it's going to be due to Wemby, no question about that, because I think Wemby is the guy on that crew. But that's going to be largely due to De'Aaron Fox. So if Dylan Harper, I think my point is Dylan Harper is the lead guard that you guys think is the future. If that's the case, I don't know how much longer we hold on to Fox. I think that if you drafted Dylan Harper, that must mean you moving on with him. If Fox is the future, if Fox is your guy right now and he's the future, I'm more of a fit guy because I feel like San Antonio has their lead guard in Fox. That's what I think.
Just because we're talking about the two, right? It just don't really matter. I'm just curious to know, right? Obviously, this doesn't matter because we're in the NBA. I just want to know from y'all point of view, who was better coming out?
So
which-
prospect,
like
Fox,
Fox-
prospect.
Dylan Harper?
Oh, that's
yeah, and I know it doesn't. I know it necessarily doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
just
that's a good question. I think that's
And I
That's
dare
a
y'all to
really good
lie.
question.
I dare y'all to lie.
Was that
I just
17?
don't think you're high on Dylan
he
Harper.
was
Ron.
Fox was a 17 draft. Yeah,
Well, where
Yeah.
did he go in that
He
draft?
went
I think
fifth. He
I
went
think
fifth
I
of the
prefer
team.
I
He
prefer
went fifth.
De'Aaron Fox as a prospect.
Yeah, I could truly agree with that.
So Mars, do you think Foxy he just ain't really panning out to what you thought he was gonna be, or
I
to
think
what
He panned
could have
out.
been?
I mean, he was an all-star, 20+ point per game type of guy. It's just I don't
He was
think.
really good.
Yeah, he's still a really good point guard. Like I don't want people to come up here and think that I just don't think De'Aaron Fox is that good. No, De'Aaron Fox is good. It's just what I think Dylan Harper is going to be. I don't think De'Aaron Fox holds that up. I don't think De'Aaron Fox holds that up. I don't think a lot of guards hold up. If you were like, okay, if Dylan Harper is panning out to what we think he's going to be, and by next year he's like Swiper said, good efficiency. He's getting to the basket. He's converting on his mid range. He's finishing around the rim, and the interior passing is good. I don't think De'Aaron Fox holds that up, especially when you have a player that's already playing at an all-star level in De'Aaron Fox that you can move off of, and you can keep the timeline. That's the most important thing to me is the timeline. All these guys are under 23, 24 years old. You know,
Devin
that's
Vassell's
the
the
best
oldest.
part. That's the best part about it. You have
Mhm.
3 guys who can contribute and have a high ceiling while keeping a low floor, and they're also all from 20 to 23 years old. You know, you
I
have
like that.
such a long timeline with these guys to where I just don't see De'Aaron Fox holding that up. Now, De'Aaron
Yeah.
Fox is a really good asset. He's a really good player, but
I don't know,
That's been
John.
my
D.
thing.
Sound like,
Every
sound like,
word I've said about the Spurs has been timeline. That's all it is.
sound like the architect
De'Aaron's
of what's
good.
going on in Cleveland. And
Sound like what?
Sound like what you just said. Sound like the young guys being 20. That's with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen when they ended up getting him, how young he was. We had a bunch of kids and developing them. And where are we now at this point? You already know how I feel about Cleveland. So if that's what if that's what it's going to turn into, then bet. I can get with that.
I think Cleveland would be a disappointment for the Spurs for me for how high I am on Wemby. That would be a disappointment for me. Not regular season stuff. I'm talking about like meaningful basketball. I think Cleveland is just not that good.
Well, I think the
Do we
Spurs will
just
have a
see
higher ceiling ultimately, but the philosophy is kind of similar, I guess. You just have the building block that no one else in the NBA has, which is obviously the big advantage. But yeah, the big thing for me about the Spurs has always been timeline. Yeah, I'm not as high on De'Aaron as Ox is or Chill is or Ron is. That's obvious. But my issue with De'Aaron in San Antonio, if you want to call it an issue, has not been that De'Aaron's not good. It's been about matching the timelines. I'm not on team rushing to contention now. You guys remember, I've been anti-Spurs for Giannis. Like I've been pushing against that the whole time.
here.
Not because I don't think Giannis is one of the 3 best players on the planet, but it's because I have been very against trying to speed up the timeline. Because I'm not on Chill's side of we need to rush this thing with Wemby because we don't know if he's going to be around. I'm team, take your time and build this out and get guys who are going to mesh with Wemby for the long term, for the 10+ years that you're projected to have him. So that's why I'm high on Dylan Harper, even if I think De'Aaron Fox might have been a better prospect.
Mars, you don't think Wemby's ready already? Like in the next
ready
year
for
or two?
what? To make the playoffs? Yeah, I think he's ready. But I think the Spurs team right now is ready to make the playoffs. To win a championship.
Y'all think Wemby is a
No, I don't think anything
you
is
think Wemby is a top 10 player in the game?
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that we clear when I say when we talk
Yes.
about rushing something. There's a difference between right now and within the next 3 years or so. That's where I'm at. Like by year 5, year 6 with Wemby, we should be having a real conversation about him being the best player in the game. That's number 1. Number 2, the San Antonio team should be in contention to win the NBA championship by that point.
3 years?
I
don't think that's rushing. I think that
2029-ish. Yeah, I would expect them to probably be contenders by then.
I don't think that's rushing, Swiper. I think that's it's along the timeline. I just don't want to. What I don't want to do is I don't want to waste any time with him. There's a difference between rushing and wasting time. I don't want to waste any time with women. That's where I'm at.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. Yeah, the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.